Hey, today I want to talk about setting boundaries with our kids. I know this can be really challenging for a lot of parents, and it's for different reasons. Sometimes we feel like we're being too permissive, too soft. We struggle to set clear boundaries. Other times, maybe we feel like we're a harsh parent and we're coming down really strict and really firm. And are we overdoing it? Maybe we're falling into that snappy, shouty kind of feel as a parent, trying to keep our kids in line and control them, right? There's so much going on with boundaries. And a big part of emotionally intelligent parenting is knowing how to set clear, healthy, firm, strong boundaries, yet with a sense of love and empathy and compassion for our kids, knowing that they are going to push on those limits and see where the line is and check and find out what happens when they go beyond it, right? When we say no to something and then they go take it or do it anyway. So I'm always talking about emotionally intelligent parenting, dealing with kids' big emotions, challenging behaviors, and our own stressful emotions as well. Raising kids, like parenting is tough. It is such a journey. I actually think it's probably the best, biggest spiritual journey and self-development journey that we have as people, but that's just my opinion. So what I want to share a little bit about in terms of boundaries is sometimes some things that stop us from setting boundaries and how we can start to do this more easily or smoothly or confidently with our kids. So as I said, sometimes setting boundaries is hard because we may struggle to have the clarity and the conviction in our decisions. That's a lot of what I see and what I work with in parents when I work with them either one-on-one in my coaching or in my signature group program, which is Chaos to Connection. We look at boundaries, and often a lot of parents struggle and say, it's really hard. I don't know where the boundary is. I don't know what boundaries to set. Sometimes I'm firm and other times I just don't have it in me, or I don't have the energy, or my kids weigh me down. There's a lot going on. And like, I am no perfect 100% of the time amazing parent. So I'm just sharing what I know from research and what I know to be helpful and beneficial for parents. Okay, so what I share is underpinned by emotional intelligence. It's also somewhat respectful parenting and conscious parenting as well. In the approach of, we're not just telling our kids, get in line, get on board. This is what we're doing. I don't care. Hurry up. We're actually meeting them where they're at in terms of their brain development and their cognitive skill and the stuff that they can and can't do. And we are respectful of that. We understand our kids don't have a fully developed brain. So they're going to make mistakes, i.e. use challenging, disruptive, or maybe defiant behavior and hurtful words and things like that. So something I want to mention, I think that can be really beneficial for parents, especially when we struggle to set clear boundaries and we feel maybe a little bit soft or permissive sometimes, is that there's kind of two big parts of why that might happen. One, we are cautious, or we're expectant with what our kids' reaction might be if we say, no, you can't have this, or we're not going there, or that's enough, stop, kind of thing. So if we lay a boundary down, we're worried about our kids' reaction. Is it going to cause a meltdown? It's probably going to cause a meltdown, or they're going to say, I'm the worst parent, I'm so unfair. And that is challenging to deal with. Okay, it can pull on our heartstrings. It can also make us really frustrated and mad as well, to go through that emotional, experience. The other thing is sometimes, and everyone is different, sometimes as kids, we didn't have the ability to maybe say no to our parents or challenge our parents without having some kind of backlash. You don't say no to me. Kids should be seen and not heard kind of mentality. Don't question me. I'm the parent. You're being rude. You're being ungrateful, when really what we were just doing was expressing our emotions, expressing that we weren't ready, or we didn't like it, or we didn't want to do it, and things like that. So what I want to kind of get across something for you guys to reflect on. Are you allowing, are you comfortable almost? Are you allowing or are you comfortable with when your child says no about, to something you've asked them to do, or says, I don't want to, or I don't like that, or I'm not ready, I need more time, that's not fair, why? All those questions, like that's our child asserting their boundary and expressing their emotions. Are you triggered by that? Or do you see that as a healthy expression of where they're at and their desires and their wants and their feelings? I'm not saying that if your child says, I don't want to eat that, or I don't like it, or, those things, I'm not saying that we let all our boundaries go and we go, okay, fine, you call the shots. Not saying that, but I'm saying, can you allow your child to express that and then work with it, then negotiate, or explain why we need to do those things, why we have the rules or the routines, why we have to brush our teeth, why we do have to get ready by 8 o'clock in the morning, why we can't have 3 cookies after dinner, whatever it is. Okay, so when we struggle to set boundaries, sometimes it's because we're afraid of the emotion that comes back at us, the displeasure, the unhappiness, or the anger. Sometimes our kids can get really angry when we have set a boundary and we've said no to something. Other times, and sometimes that's directed right at us. And I want you guys to understand that it's actually really healthy, most of the time age appropriate, and like brain development appropriate way for our kids to express how they're feeling. They're allowed to do that. They're allowed to not be happy with rules. Again, I'm not saying that we go, okay, well then you choose. How many cookies do you want? But we're allowing them to not be okay with things and to be mad or to feel like it's unfair. That's okay. Because what we're doing there is accepting. It's almost like in a relationship with adults, there's a lot of talk, or at least I see a lot of stuff on social media. And it's probably the people I follow, the psychology accounts and the parent coaches, around boundaries and how to set boundaries with other people. I used to be terrible with setting boundaries because I didn't want to upset the other person. I was a people pleaser. I wanted to make them like me and blah, 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 blah. So I really struggled to set a boundary. I would say, yes, I'll do this for you. Yes, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll pick it up. Yeah, I'll help you. Yeah, I'll make that cake for your birthday. Da, 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 da. The thing is, we burn out and we start to feel resentful and bitter. And that doesn't end well for us, and it's not great. Like, that's not great modeling for our kids. Like, I want both my kids, a son and daughter, I want them to know how to set boundaries with other people and say, I don't like that. I don't want to. It's not for me. I'm not ready. I need more time, and things like that. So I guess a couple of my takeaways for this video. This is not all encompassing about boundaries and the ins and outs. I go through this over several weeks and several sessions with parents to really get underneath the layers. But just know that this is a portion of what I teach parents I work with, and some stuff that I wanted to share with you. And so recognizing that we can feel uncomfortable, but that's okay when our kids are upset with our decisions and our boundaries. And also, I think reflecting back, we all know that our childhood and those experiences and those interactions have really shaped who we are and how we show up today. And that's across the board for humans in general. Doesn't matter who you are, what age or race or gender or whatever, that's shaped us. So I want you to reflect on your experiences with when you were a child and your parents set boundaries for you or dealt with your emotions. How did they navigate them? Were they quashed? Were they swept under the rug? Were they suppressed? Were you told saying no to a parent or challenging what they've said or asking questions? Were you told that was rude? Maybe, or that was naughty, or that was misbehaving and things like that, because we were learning, and we still are all the time, based on how people respond to us. So, lots to think about. Do I have any final words about boundaries? I think what we know and feel about our boundaries with our kids is usually, like, if you tap into your intuition, your inner wisdom, and that knowledge that kind of tells you that's not okay, or you shouldn't be doing that, or no, if we listen to those inner messages, which is usually where our emotions are coming up, those feelings, those emotions, then we can be guided pretty well by that in terms of how to set boundaries and where the line is. When you feel like something isn't okay, it's inappropriate, it's hurtful, harmful, dangerous, and so on. But the way that we can let our kids know that's not okay, you can't do that, this is why, this is what will happen if you keep doing it, all of those things. There's so much to think about, and I'm going to be doing more content, more videos. There's lots more, there's articles on my website and blogs and things like that. So please jump on over to either stephaniepinto.com and have a look at some of the blogs. If you're not already on the Facebook group, please join the community there. It's Let's Raise Emotionally Intelligent Kids. And please give me your feedback as well. What do you find hard about setting boundaries? What are your questions? I would love to hear in the comments below some things about what you find, what comes up for you in terms of setting boundaries with your kids. Doesn't matter if they're 2 or 12 or 22. And then I can respond and perhaps do another video on some more specific boundary settings. All right, have a great day, guys, and I'll see you soon.